Hey everybody, this is Roger, Roger's Reviews. Just completed, almost completed a trip to Ohio from Jacksonville, Florida, and driving a 2021 Model Y standard range, which is about 240, maybe 230 to 240 if you charge it all the way completely 100%. Was able to make it to Ohio, but I had to charge it almost all the way up at every stop. Normally I've done this trip probably at least a dozen times, and in a gas vehicle, if I try to go as fast as I can and make as few stops as I can and don't just stop for fuel, I think the fastest I ever made it was like a little over 13 hours. It's about 950 miles, give or take. But in this vehicle, it's going to take about 16 hours because you have to stop like twice as much. In a gas vehicle, maybe like 3 times. If you fill up before you leave and then fill up like 2 or 3 times on the way. And this electric vehicle has the smallest battery pack and the smallest range of any Model Y. It's basically 240 miles. So you have to stop like 6 times, 6 or 7 times. Plus you gotta charge up before you leave. So I was thinking 240 miles was a decent range, but I think if you're traveling, I think the bare minimum should be 300 miles. So if you're thinking about buying an electric car or a Tesla, and you travel a lot, especially long distances, the chargers are sometimes over 100 miles apart, sometimes 150. So in order to not have range anxiety, I would recommend a minimum of 300 miles to 320 minimum. I'm about to buy the Cybertruck next year. It's supposed to have a 300 plus mile range, and now that I've made a trip in this vehicle, I would definitely recommend, if you're, like I said, if you're traveling a lot out of town, over a couple hundred miles, I would definitely get something 300 miles or more. Thing is, if you miss an exit or there's not very much deviation, if you get lost or don't have, can't find any more places besides superchargers, I would recommend that you find another alternative to find chargers like Charge America. There's a couple different apps you can put on your phone so you can find other places to charge, and I would definitely recommend doing that. I can probably put a link in the description, but there's a couple other I have Charge Point and then Plug Share, and there's a few other ones as well that I would definitely have 2 or 3 alternatives, because what will happen if you miss an exit or you miss a turn or you get stuck, you get lost, something happens, or God forbid the chargers are not working, you're going to be stuck. So until you traveled in an EV, you won't realize this, but there's only specific places you can charge right now. And I mean, you can charge anywhere as far as like plugs and stuff like that, but if you're traveling, you need to have superchargers or something that's close to the equivalent, because it already takes a lot of time when you're supercharging. Another thing is, if you're traveling, you don't think you're going to get there like you would in a gas car. Give yourself a lot of time, leave early, give yourself a couple hours extra, because it's going to take a little bit more time to charge, and it's going to take a little bit more time to find the chargers because they're not always right off the highway. Sometimes you have to drive around and find them. And also too, they're not always like invisible spots. The chargers are only like 4 feet high, 5 feet high, 6 at the most. And there's no flag or nothing around. So sometimes you'll drive into an area and it'll be back behind, a shopping mall. It might be behind a restaurant. It might be back behind a convenience store, and you sometimes have to look for a few minutes until you spot it. I mean, once you see it, there's like usually 10 or at least 5 to 10 of them, but sometimes they're in dark areas and sometimes it's not really well lit. So if you're traveling at night, sometimes it's a little bit of a process to find the superchargers. So I wish they would have like maybe a flag or something that sticks up that you can see it from a distance, because a lot of times you can't see the chargers until you're right up on them. So that would be something else that I would bring up. It wouldn't cost much to put up a flagpole with a big T or something on it. I don't know what the regulations are on that, but anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Been driving all night and had to go to one of my buddies' mom passed away, so coming to pay my respects. And but if you like this video, please crush the like button, and I'll try to bring you some more coverage of some of the chargers and the locations. I was just in a hurry to get here, so I didn't have a lot of time to do videos, and I was very tired. So I'm almost done charging. I'm in Ohio, and there's at least 10 chargers here back to back, but all the chargers have worked so far. They've been fast. So I mean, I don't have any complaints about the chargers. I just wish there were more of them. And also too, sometimes the location isn't the best. Another thing is, since all this stuff's going on, everything's locked down, you always can get to a charger, but sometimes there's no restroom. You can't get into a restaurant. You can't get into a gas station. Everything around the charger is locked down. So you might want to bring something so you can go to the bathroom, because sometimes you're not going to have the ability to do that, or you're going to have to stop somewhere else instead of making it all at one stop. So just be aware of that when you're traveling. I take a Segway Mini with me because sometimes it's a couple hundred yards or further. The other night I stopped and there was gas stations around, but they were all closed. I had to go across the road and down the street to find a gas station that I could use the restroom at. So just be aware of that. When you're charging, you can't always, it's not always convenient, especially at night, to find a place to use the facilities. And just like today, I'm looking around, there's a Taco Bell, there's a McDonald's, there's a couple of stores around here, but some of them are locked up. The drive-thru's open, but they won't let you allow you to use the restroom. So again, this is an area, great charging, everything's convenient except for a restroom. So maybe Tesla, you might want to start putting bathrooms in your cars or something. I don't know. Maybe put porta potties or some type of facility next to these chargers until everything opens up again, because nobody wants to walk, a half a block or 2 or 3 blocks to go to the bathroom, and it's not safe either. I would rather have a porta potty somewhere. It wouldn't cost that much, and there's plenty of room usually around these chargers to just have a porta potty or two until everything opens up and you can use facilities again. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time, and take a few pictures in Ohio. Have a great day. God bless.